Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. My name is Vivian Degwa, and right now we get into our health segment, that is Health Check. And today's conversation will be on oral health and oral hygiene, and we'll be mainly basing our discussion around communities. And I am joined by a community oral health officer from Kenswood, and her name is Damaris Oldua. Damaris, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Vivian. Good morning to all our viewers. I'm glad to be here just to talk about oral health. Thank you.
All right. So let's start our conversation with first getting to understand what you do at Kenswood. What exactly do you do at Kenswood?
Well, before maybe I talk about what exactly I do at Kenswood, I need to tell our viewers to know what exactly Kenswood is. Yeah, so Kenswood is a non-profit organization that began in the year 2012. We formed by an elite athlete whose major aim is to impact youth in the communities with education, sports, and healthcare. Yeah, so the organization began with a secondary school where students are given free education from picked from all over the country. And alongside the way, there was need for the students getting education at this place to holistically be served. When I talk about this, I mean students' health being taken care of. We all understand that when students are confined in one place and they're not receiving holistic services all around their life, like healthcare, then they spend lots of time going out of class and maybe going out home for treatment and so forth. So a facility was opened around, and part of the services we offer at the facility is dental healthcare. Yes, so we began giving the students free dental services because there was need. Most of them were going out, spending a lot of time going out for treatment. Some cases needed for the students to go get treated at home. So when we opened this dental clinic, it was specifically to serve the students. And this has been serving them since the year 2021. And we have seen most of them now fully concentrating in class because they are not experiencing dental issues and other health anomalies.
All right.
Yes.
So, you know, having worked in that area, you know, with the students since, you mentioned since 2021, what would you say are some of the most common oral issues that you've encountered?
It goes without saying that the most common dental issues are dental caries. And the reason as to why this is very common is because of lack of proper brushing habits, and maybe this trickles down to lack of information, lack of awareness amongst the people in the community. And as somebody in clinical practice in dentistry, and also having handled these students, we noticed that what is it that we can do different to be able to arrest such problems from occurring more frequently? Despite the fact that we are giving curative measures, we also thought about preventive measures. But dental caries is a major problem that we really picked out of our very own students, and also dental fluorosis, which is a major problem in our geographical area. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe just what's the importance of spreading awareness on proper oral hygiene?
Okay, we have noticed that oral hygiene has been taken as a good to have thing and not a must have thing. And so we are telling people that this is a must have thing because it is the epitome of one's overall health. We say that the mouth is the entry to your body. So, Vivian, if you don't take good care of your oral hygiene, then the rest of your body will not be healthy. So it is very, very important that we give all this information down to the communities, to the young, to the middle-aged, and to the old, so so that they are able to understand what exactly they need to do to be able to achieve that. And this is just not about a good smile and a good appearance, but like I said, it goes down to your general health.
All right. So clearly it is something that should be given a priority, of course, because oral health is also very connected to one's overall, health in general. And it's a good thing that you're doing this, and mainly the fact that you are starting from the very root of it, from the grassroots, and also beginning with the very young people, and the minute you work with this younger people, children in school-going children, then it's a good way to start, because now they start gaining momentum and taking care of their oral health from the very beginning, as children, and so they know that they need to keep up with it over and over, as they continue. And yes, that's what we're talking about today, and that is oral health and oral health hygiene, mainly looking at communities. And we have Damaris with us here. Now, Damaris, probably, with having the experience of working with different communities, and mainly right now you're working with Kajiado, in Kajiado, the Kajiado community, right? Kajiado area, that they're about. Yes. Maybe what are some of the barriers that you would say people face, in accessing just proper oral care?
Okay, and maybe as I come to answer that, maybe let me just talk about children and oral health, like you mentioned. If you notice that children are not decision makers when it comes to whatever treatment they are supposed to receive, yeah? So when they come at the facility, probably their wish would be not to have this or this done. But because of there's a guardian who has to give consent and decide, probably depending on their economic status and their level of understanding, then children have to undergo whatever treatment that the parent decides, even though the expert, as an expert, we would give the best advice. And so when we are focusing more on children, we are feeling that for them. So we thought we need to do more advocacy, especially directly to the children, that we teach them how to take good care of their oral health, so that they don't experience lots of these complications or troubles and pains and so forth. So one of the major barriers that we face is there are lots of myths in the community. There are a lot of narratives that are beliefs that have grown roots in the communities across the country, across in certain communities and things like that. Yeah. So when we are going out there to talk to them, we really have to break those barriers. Like, people believe when a tooth is painful, it has to come out. There's a lot of belief that there's no need to spend money on maybe treating a child's teeth, because anyway it will come out and things like that. Yeah. There are lots of beliefs that sometimes there are people who believe that if you use the modern medicine when brushing and things like that, it's going to harm my teeth because there are chemicals and things like that. So those are some of the barriers that we meet when we are giving the services to the community, and we really have to change those narratives. And Vivian, I want to tell you that in the forums we've had, in the programs, alongside the programs, we have noticed that most of these people have come and sat down, and they are slowly adopting the modern way of just taking good care of their oral health and ditching the traditional methods, which probably have been harming them in one way or another. Yeah.
So cultural beliefs is the major barrier that you get to face.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the only one, actually.
Oh, well, there are other issues, like of course accessibility to even the people we want to talk to. Those are barriers of such kind. Getting people together, it's also another problem. Like you see, it will not be economical for us to talk to one person at a time. So we we have always wished to get people gathered together so we can give information to both the children and the guardians. And when I talk about the guardians, I'm talking about the caregivers, the grandparents, the parents, and even the teachers. But now, because of time and the state of our communities, people have gone to work, people are up and down. It's not really easy to get them together. And that's why we narrowed it down to focus on schools. It's easier to get children together at one given time and deliver the information to them. And then amongst them, you get a certain percentage. You'll be able to remember the information for a long time, so they can be able to remind their peers.
So do you do this across different schools, or do you have a specific school? Just tell me about that.
Okay, so the program basically began at Kenswed Secondary School, because that's the school where inside the organization, and we saw it being very effective. So when we thought about extending it to the rest of the community, but this was just not, again, a thought. It is something we noticed amidst the practice at our dental clinic. We noticed lots of children coming in with dental anomalies, some things that would have otherwise been prevented. So we thought, how can we, together with our sponsors who've been very supportive, TP, an oral health company from Sweden, that's our major sponsor, and we also had volunteer doctors from Sweden, who Dr. Ossa and Mats Trusson. And with this program, we are also in partnership with the University of Nairobi Dental School. So we've had lots of expertise on site who we have borrowed a lot from. So we thought, how do we do it? And of course, penetrating schools are government institutions. So we approached the stakeholders within Kajiado, and most of these programs, we've done it in Kajiado North and Kajiado West schools. So we approached the Ministry of Education, gave our proposals. We were able to let them understand just why we need to impact the community, because this is our host community. We have our programs there. So it would have been selfish of us to just confine it within ourselves, but extend a hand. So we approached the Ministry of Health. We got those approvals. We make applications in schools. And like you know, again, our school programs are tight, so we have to make use of the little time that we are given. Like most of them give us like after afternoon classes, so we have like 30 minutes to talk to the children between 4 and 4:30, or maybe sometimes a break time of 10 to 15 minutes. So that's how we got to get into schools. And this has not really been confined again to public schools alone. We feel like every last child needs this information, both public and private. So we go to all schools for as long as they open doors for us.
I see you've come with your tools of trade, but before we get to talk about what you've come with today, and just so that you can get to demonstrate a thing or two, why do you think, or why do you believe that dental health is not really given as much attention as it should be overally?
Like I said, again, it's the myths. People, both the unreached and even those who have been reached, those who have access to dental services, they still believe that oral hygiene is for the good smile, and of course just preventing bad breath and avoiding cavities. So once someone does the brushing here and there, then that's done. And it's also not been given a lot of attention because of lack of information. There's no much information out there, and that's why amidst our activities in the communities, we noticed mothers telling us that well, my 4-year-old hasn't started brushing because their teeth are not dirty. So it's basically lack of information. So the reason why we are doing this advocacy is to make sure that every last person gets to know that oral health should be practiced from the first time the first tooth sets erupts in a child's mouth. That's from 6 months onwards, because yes, it will give you the good smile and the good feeling and the good look, but there's the hidden part, which is, and science has proven that poor oral health is also causing other illnesses like heart disease, gut issues, diabetes, just to name but a few. So basically lack of information, which we are trying to do out there. Yes.
You're trying to do the advocacy work.
Exactly.
All right, let's get into the things you've come with, the tools, let me not call them things, the tools you've come with, you know. And, you know, since I can see that's a mouth, yeah, you know, it has teeth, and there's the tongue, and you have the toothbrush there. So let's talk about the do's and don'ts of just maintaining good oral health, as you also just get to do some demonstrations on that.
Okay, so this is a model. This is a typical, a true demonstration of what exactly our mouth looks like. So our oral cavity has different parts. Of course, you have the lips, the gum, the teeth, and the tongue, which is in here. So how do we take good care of, how do we brush, rather? Yeah, and when we are teaching children, and we like joking around with our children and telling them that you need to know how to brush, and this comes out well when we give stories and do demonstrations, and they get to internalize. So, and these are not things that have been talked about when we are growing up, but now with digital technology, things are on YouTube, online and stuff, we can be able to even learn now. So this is how we brush. People get their toothbrushes and they put too much toothpaste because maybe someone believes that when I put too much, it will do good.
Do a better clean.
Yes, but I'm here to tell you that you only need pea size. Pea size is the side of a pea, minji. Yeah. I know every last Kenyan knows that. Yeah, so that size of toothpaste. So when you're brushing, and we say, make sure you brush morning and evening. Morning and evening, every day. There's a rule of 2. Brush twice a day, brush at least 2 minutes. 2 minutes, your mouth has 4 quadrants. We have the right upper, right lower, left upper, left lower. So every quadrant take at least 30 seconds. If you take 30 seconds per quadrant, then you will take 2 minutes. That should be enough time to have achieved what you want to do. But again, it's not just brushing. How do you brush? There's the right brushing technique. When we wake up in the morning, we are so much in a hurry to leave, and people just go brushing. You know, you would wake up people. Not everybody wants to wake up just because you're brushing very roughly. And I tell my children that usipige randa, you know, because when you do this, when you brush back and forth, you hurt your gum. You hurt your gum, so your gum will wear out gradually with time, and then you start getting sensitivity, and then you wonder, what is it that I'm doing wrong? So we advise that you brush in a circular motion. Circular motion means you brush round and round, on up and down. Sorry, let me just open this so we can use it properly. So you brush in a circular motion, circular motion. Then, in that way, your toothbrush is able to go all around your tooth surfaces. Brush in a circular motion. Take time, at least 30 seconds per quadrant, up and down. Brush all the sides. Your teeth have 3 surfaces. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so make sure you brush all surfaces of your teeth. The surface that really keeps lots of food is the chewing surfaces, especially for the molars. So even the molars, you need to brush properly. Brush at the back end, because most of the time food gets stuck here, and then And I know sometimes it can be tricky brushing here, and that's why we say that you need to concentrate so that food doesn't tuck in here. Yes. So you brush all the surfaces of your teeth up and down. You also need to brush your tongue. Yes. And I know most people ask, how do I brush my tongue? Because when your tongue is very tender, and anytime something touches it, you feel like throwing up. So you just be gentle. And there's also a tongue scraper. Nowadays things have been modified a lot, and you can get that to just scrub and brush your tongue. You rinse and clean your brush, and that's it. But again, before brushing, you need to floss. Yes. Flossing helps to remove food in between your teeth. Yeah, it helps to remove food in between your teeth, because most cavities, most dental bacteria hides in between your teeth. So if you don't floss, then again, so much stuff gets stuck there, which with time, it creates plaque. Bacteria feeds on that, and you end up getting cavities. There are flosses that are available. We now have, like I said, there's a lot that has evolved in dentistry. We also have interdental brush, a small brush that you can clean in between your teeth. Because there are people who have surfaces in between their teeth, spaces in between their teeth, and sometimes it's very hard to remove food, so you use an interdental brush. They come in different sizes that is suitable depending on your interdental space. Yes.
All right. So that's the whole, practice of you maintaining your, oral health just outwardly.
And this should be done morning and evening. And people ask, in the morning, do I brush before I take breakfast or after? Well, brushing should always be done after the meal. But if someone feels like I woke up and I can't really take my breakfast with whatever I'm having in my mouth, then you can take your breakfast, but make sure after the meal you have to brush. But again, people ask, then why am I not brushing after lunchtime? Well,
good question.
Yes, it's not really practical. Probably you're in the office and working and things like that. So the most effective time to brush is in the morning and evening when you're going to sleep. We are brushing in the evening because you've taken lots of food during the day. So if you sleep on a dirty mouth, then bacteria has lots of stuff to work on during the night. And that's when decay will be taking place. So it is very, very important for you to brush in the evening when you're going to sleep.
All right. Yeah. Let's talk about what to use to brush. One may ask, what's the difference between fluoride and non-fluoride? Because when you go to the supermarkets to buy, maybe your toothpaste, there are those that are labeled non-fluoride, and there are those that have fluoride. I believe most of them have fluoride toothpaste. So what's the difference between the two?
Well, fluoride is very important in protecting our teeth against cavities, and it also strengthens our teeth. So what we recommend is, especially for the children, every toothpaste that is in the market has fluoride content indicated, and we advise that you use the age-appropriate toothpaste, because nowadays things have been simplified. You find the amount of fluoride in toothpaste has been specified. Whether using fluoride or non-fluoride toothpaste, the question now comes in from your doctor. Depending on probably your area of habitat, there are areas that have high fluoride zone. So depending on advice you've gotten from the doctor, then you're able to pick the appropriate thing as recommended. But all in all, fluoride is very, very important in protecting our teeth against cavities. But again, an excess of it, of course, has its own issue.
Is it what causes the browning sometimes of the teeth?
Yes, and that's one of the major problem we have also seen in the area where we do our community programs. There's a lot of fluoride in the water. So people have, or rather children have discolored teeth. And that, of course, comes with its own issues, like they get decayed easily because they become brittle. When there's an excess of everything, of course, it has its own side effects. So they become brittle. There's the discoloration, which also brings low self-esteem. And those are the things we are also handling.
So just to get it, for communities who live around areas where their water has, too much or have fluoride in it, a lot of it in it, then you would recommend them to use non-fluoride toothpastes?
Well, we just don't recommend them not to use fluoride toothpaste because we are not sure how many parts of fluoride are in the water, in the water that they are consuming. So that's something that needs to be tested, shown, and then we can be able to table the statistics and advise the people appropriately. But all in all, the WHO recommendation for amount of fluoride in water that one should consume is it should not exceed 1.5 milligrams per liter. But now, for us to be able to beat that, what we advise people is just to blend the water, like because I mean,
you blending the water?
You notice that the streams, the rivers, our major sources of water are going down because of one thing or another. So there's a high rise in borehole, use of borehole water. And that's where people tend to consume lots of fluoride from. So what we advise out in the communities is that if they can be able to get the little river water that is available, or rather get the rainwater, that they harvest rainwater, then they're able to mix with the water from the borehole. In that case, it probably reduces the amount of fluoride in the water. That's what it means by blending the water. Yeah. Otherwise, then we need lots of testing to be done and restrictions put forward so that we can narrow it down to don't use this water.
Okay, I get you on that. There's I would love for you to talk about the use of salts, the use of bicarbonate of soda when one brushes their teeth. It's word on the street has it that they help with just working on your teeth. So I would love for you to speak to us about that. Is it a misconception? Is it a myth? Is it actually true that they do work? Would you recommend? Would you not?
Well, lots of myths again, and narratives and practices that are, of course, taking place in the communities. And we really do not rubbish some of these, because being in the 21st century, one would assume that everybody should be able now to get a toothpaste and a toothbrush. But again, not everybody is able to access that. And so when we are going down in the communities, we also want to know, we also ask the children, what do you use when you don't have a toothbrush? And actually they tell us they use swaki, the chewing stick. Yes. So they tell us they use a stick, and this has been proven to be effective even when we are studying in school. It's one of the best alternatives to a toothbrush. And when it comes to toothpaste, again, not everybody is able to afford it or get it consistently. So what else works? And I know there are lots of things that have been spoken about. What we say is, if you have an alternative, yes, but it hasn't really been proven and tested, then we try to advise on moderation or just trying to find the toothpaste that is available. But of course, research should be done, more research should be done on the use of salt and charcoal and ash and stuff like that. Yes.
So you're
no,
you don't recommend on
well, like I said, alternatives, some alternatives work for different people, but I think we need good research done so that we can float it that this is okay to use.
All right. What impact does diet have generally on oral health?
Wow, good question. Yes, diet has a lot of impact on our oral health. And that, of course, I would narrow it down to the sugary foods. And I know this is something that is part of our diet, but it's important, and these are some of the things that we talk about with the children when we are in schools. And it's funny that anytime you ask, what makes your teeth bad? They are ready to shout them out. So diet really plays a big role in both strengthening our teeth and even leading to some of these dental issues that people have, especially sugary foods. Sugary foods, sticky foods, and when it's accompanied by poor brushing. Yeah, so lots of sugary foods, we tell parents, or rather everybody, to minimize on their consumption, because when the biofilm is formed, when sugar stays for a long time on the surfaces of your teeth, it forms an acid, which of course bacteria works on the acid and then breaks down your teeth. You get cavities and things like that, and of course it has other health implications. So we restrict, really don't restrict because we don't give food, but we advise on minimizing consumption of sugary foods, especially the frequency at which you use these. Should be once in a while, that would be good, but make sure you brush well. But daily consumption of sugary foods, sticky foods, they are not good. Candies and stuff, they are not good for children. They are not good even for adults. Yes. But of course, there are good foods that are also good to our teeth, like natural foods that are crunchy and things like that. They help clean in between our teeth. The chewing and the, the water that comes from the juices that come from the foods. Yeah.
There's, lemon juices and whatnot, that people who, it's a practice that most people have, I would say, now are really into, whereby you take a glass of lemon water in the morning. What effect does lemon have on the teeth? Because I understand that it kind of erodes the enamel of the tooth just slowly by slowly, and we're taking it for other uses, maybe to just get slimmer and whatnot. Just if you can talk a bit about that as we finish.
Okay. Not specifically lemon alone, but I would say that if you expose your teeth for a long time to one thing, then definitely there are detrimental effects that come with it. And so maybe for people who are using this, our teeth are very sensitive to certain either acidic, both acidic and alkaline. So too much exposure of our teeth to those substances can cause dental issues. So, and probably we have advised people in the past, those people who come at the facility with such complaints, that maybe you can use a straw so that it doesn't get direct contact, especially if you're doing it continuously. But of course, it's not something bad to do, like taking it.
So when drinking lemon water, you can at least use a straw to protect your teeth.
You protect your teeth.
All right. Okay. We should be winding up. Probably you can give us your final remarks on this conversation.
Like I began saying, oral hygiene is not a desirable thing. It should be a must-do for everyone, young and adults. The reason why we are focusing on children, like I said, is because we want the children to grow up with the habit. We want them to make it a part of their life. And healthcare providers, we call upon fellow healthcare providers to join the dots between oral healthcare and the rest of our body health. Because even like the FDI theme for this year says, a happy mouth is a happy mind. We talk about lots of other wellness issues when it comes to health matters. Different faculties are talking about wellness, mental wellness, nutrition, exercise, and things like that. But we have forgotten oral health. So healthcare providers need to join the dots so that we are able to all bring it together. Because some of the health effects that people are undergoing could be as a result of issues beginning from their oral health. And we need to work with communities to forge this advocacy forward. We need to work with practitioners at the dental clinic, the dentists, the dental hygienists, the community oral health officers, the oral health product producers, and everybody, so that amidst chair-side treatment, we need to find time and talk to our patient. And that's what we practice as a facility. We give you education and treatment. And if we can spend 1 shilling on preventive, then we can save 50 shilling that is spent on emergencies that arise because of other issues that have been caused by oral health.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so very much, Damaris, for joining us for this conversation today.
Thank you.
All right. This is where we end this conversation, and this is also where we'll get to wrap up Good Morning Kenya for today.